Violence, one of the most prominent ideas in today's world. Violence has a rich history, especially in the 1960s. From Malcolm X to the Black Panthers, violence has been used as a statement for a cause, specifically the Civil Rights Movement. Although violence is very good for spreading the cause, it is not effective for long-term change in America.
How many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? Yes, and how many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? Yes, and how many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is a blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years must a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? Yes, and how many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free?
That song has been described as an anthem for the 1960s civil rights movement. It was considered amazing that a young white man could write something which captured the frustrations and aspirations of black people so powerfully. The song was seen as a protest to the United States government for ignoring the cause.
White man pays Reverend Martin Luther King, subsidizes Reverend Martin Luther King, so that Reverend Martin Luther King can continue to teach the Negroes to be defenseless. That's what you mean by nonviolent. Be defenseless. Be defenseless in the face of one of the most cruel beasts that has ever taken the people into captivity. That's this American white man. And
to give a background, Malcolm X was much like Martin Luther King Jr., except for the fact that he used violence. He was an American Muslim minister and a human rights activist. He grew up in poverty and had little education, which can be contrasted to MLK, who had a plethora of education. Quote, "Concerning nonviolence, it is criminal to teach a man not to defend himself when he is the constant victim of brutal attacks," end quote. He wanted to do whatever it took in order to gain equality, whether violence or nonviolence. Malcolm's methods were very effective in the fact that it drew attention to the subject, while MLK was more prominent in long-term reform. Violence does not bring in effective social change in America, yet it does bring awareness.
Now then, we want to touch on nonviolence because we see that again as the failure of white society to make nonviolence work. I was always surprised at Quakers who came to Alabama and counseled me to be nonviolent, but didn't have the guts to start talking to James Clark to be nonviolent. That is where nonviolence needs to be preached, to Jim Clark, not to black people. They have already been nonviolent too many years. The question is, can white people conduct their nonviolent schools in Cicero, where they belong to be conducted, not among black people in Mississippi? Can they conduct it among the white people in Grenada, 6'2" men who kick little black children? Can you conduct nonviolent schools there? That is the question that we must raise, not that you conduct nonviolence among black people. Can you name me one black man today who's killed anybody white?
Stokely Carmichael was a civil rights activist, much like Malcolm X. He wrote the very popular slogan Black Power, which demonstrates what type of reforms he enforced. He also chose the Black Panther, which would soon become the mascot. He initially agreed with Martin Luther King's views as nonviolence is the only way for change, but once he realized that the government didn't really care, he turned to violence, therefore proving out his own thesis. Carmichael was gaining popularity, especially with younger protesters, which made his arguments loud in society.
Only our brother Martin Luther King exhausted a means of nonviolence with his life being taken by some racists. What is being done to us is what we hate, and what happened to Martin Luther King is what we hate. You darn right. We respect nonviolence. But to sit and watch ourselves be slaughtered like our brother, we must defend ourselves, as Malcolm X said, by any means necessary.
From the beginning, the Black Panther Party's focus on militarism came with a reputation for violence. Members would carry loaded rifles around the city. The party would host rallies, yet there was no police interference due to the fact they were all armed. They focused on making a statement. The rallies were to get attention. Making reforms was never a priority for the Panthers.
Bringing into modern media, you may recognize this next clip as it was shown at the halftime show during the 50th Super Bowl. Beyonce used many symbols to create the image of the Black Panthers, such as the black X's on their clothes and the black X formations. This performance brought a load of media attention, yet there was no substance to the act.
Then it was burning down buildings and looting drugstores, all the way to Oscars So White, and now even the Super Bowl halftime show has become a way to politicize and advance the notion that Black lives matter more. This isn't about equality. This is about ramrodding an aggressive agenda down our throats and using fame and entertainment value to do so. Beyonce, really? What is the political message here? What is it they are trying to convey here? A salute to what? A group that used violence and intimidation to advance not racial equality but an overthrow of white domination? The Black Panthers, for those who don't know, were critical of Martin Luther King's non-violent civil rights movement. They didn't believe in change through peace. They promoted violence instead. So congratulations, Beyonce. You made your statement. Beyonce didn't reference the Black Panthers to bring about some kind of positive change. She did it to get attention. Good for you. You made headlines. You, just like President Obama, Jada Pinkett Smith, Al Sharpton, and so many others, just can't let America heal. Keep ripping off the historical Band-Aid. Why be a cultural leader when you can play the victim, right? Yes.
Although violence is prevalent in daily life, it is a small part of progressive reform. Violence very well produces attention that is not needed in a forever changing society. Malcolm X, Stokely Carmichael, and the Black Panthers were all examples of how public attention is thought to be more important than social change in America.